Texas is battered and bruised, and the state government that prides itself in being the number one in producing oil is also the number one in being lousy when it comes to getting prepared for a weather forecast that was available to every Tom and Harry around the world. The Texas government wants you to believe it's not a man made disaster. The weather was, of course, not a man made disaster, but the power cuts were absolutely a man made disaster. How many days and nights passed between the time we knew that a storm was coming and when the storm actually came? Texas did not have weeks, it nearly had a decade to prepare for this, and they didn't. Because the people who are supposed to take care of things did not really care. In 2011, when the Groundhog Day Blizzard ran through parts of Canada and the United States, more than 30 people lost their lives and total damages hit somewhere closer to $1.8 billion. Texas Governor Rick Perry pleaded with Texans to conserve as much electricity as possible to reduce the load on the grid. More than 75% of the state was hit with rolling blackouts on February 2nd, 2011. These are visuals from 2011.
A monster storm is roaring across the United States tonight. The storm's path stretches 2,500 miles, and it could affect more than 100 million people by the end of tomorrow.
Across Oklahoma, just venturing outside was treacherous.
The way it is, I don't know, the whole place is going to be shut down, the whole city.
So please don't tell us that the current storm hit us without a warning. Just tell us the truth. You guys didn't really care, despite going through the same careless attitude that got us into trouble 10 years ago. The Federal Energy Regulatory Commission analyzed what happened in 2011 and gave a long list of recommendations to better prepare the grid to handle winter storms. On page 34 of the report, which the great governor of the great state of Texas should have read, it reads, Case 5, Installation of additional storage capacity at critical facilities. So there you go again. The commission clearly told them that you need to build up storage capacity, along with so many other things that needs to be done. But the private companies in Texas never bothered to do anything because why spend money on storage facilities that you rarely use or getting prepared for the winter while you can move oil and natural gas around in pipelines and make as much money as possible. What happens when the next storm hits? Well, we can ask the governor to go on Fox, talk about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the Green New Deal, and his plan to make sure that this never happens again. Then we can set up a commission, get a report, and forget for another 10 years before another storm hits again.
Gas, oil, old-fashioned oil, and coal. I'm not against nuclear energy either. I'm not against wind turbines. But my question is, if you have these rolling blackouts and you got freezing weather, and they're not reliable and it's use it or lose it, what good is it?
Sean, this shows how the Green New Deal would be a deadly deal for the United States of America. Texas is blessed with multiple sources of energy, such as natural gas and oil and nuclear, as well as solar and wind. But you saw from what Trace said, and that is our wind and our solar got shut down, and they were collectively more than 10% of our power grid. And that thrust Texas into a situation where it was lacking power in a statewide basis that was power that was spread out by that ERCOT organization that you were talking about. As a result, it just shows that fossil fuel is necessary for the state of Texas as well as other states to make sure that we will be able to heat our homes in the wintertime and cool our homes in the summertime.
There is a group which is trying to pin the blame on renewable energy for this disaster, which is another work of art from a spin factory. Renewable energy accounts for just 7% of power supply in Texas. Nearly 80% of the state's power is supplied by natural gas and coal-powered facilities. Truth be told, the problem is not with the type of power generation. Fossil fuels did not cause the blackouts, the renewables did not cause them either. The problem is with the people who are running these companies that generate power. Natural gas plants, fuel pipelines, nuclear power stations, and wind turbines can all operate in frigid temperatures. How does Canada operate? How does Norway operate? But one after another, they all failed in Texas because all these facilities were not prepared to work under severe cold conditions. The problem was compounded even further because the power generators never bothered to build up storage facilities as a fallback. They had no idea how to handle a sudden increase in demand. No clue whatsoever. Okay, private companies did what private companies always do, take care of their bottom lines. But what about the state government led by Greg Abbott? As I think the less we speak about them, the better. Forget having 10 years to prepare for this. What are these people paid for? Can't they read a weather report? Greg Abbott had all the time on earth to prepare the ground for the 2020 elections, like keeping one ballot box per county, asking for a reason to vote by mail. And the local GOP went all the way to court to stop people from voting in a drive through. But preparing the grid to stop a blackout of monumental proportions, no, they did not have time. How about one power storage facility per county governor? Maybe keep them right next to the one ballot box you kept for people to drop their ballots. But hey, doing the yards is hard, but blaming everyone else, the renewables, the Democrats, and whatnot, is easy.